Hey there, Baconites. Yep, that's right. I said Baconites. Welcome again to the minicast for Bellingham Anime Convention. I know there weren't any minicasts last month. That's on me. I wasn't exactly in the best place mentally, and I very, very much apologize. But we're back, and it's great. We're gonna have some interesting stuff for you, I think. It's gonna be some new Bacon news, as well as some other anime and whatnot news, and all sorts of great stuff. So, let's get right into it. First thing, Bacon news. We are barely a month away from Bacon, which is super duper duper exciting. So there's only one more primary podcast, and then a couple more minicasts, and then we're right into Bacon. So it's going to be super exciting. Still have a lot of things that I hope that you guys look forward to. I know I'm looking forward to so many of our panelists. We have some great panels that are coming up. We actually still have panel applications open if you're interested in submitting, because I want to see the kind of stuff that you guys have to offer. I personally, I love seeing panels. I love seeing all the different kinds of things that people can offer. So it's going to be super cool to see what you guys put out there. On top of that, we're still looking for volunteers for the convention. We need some more people that are going to help keep things running really, really smoothly. It's going to be super fun, and if you volunteer, you get in for free for only a little bit of work. So, why wouldn't you? Anyways, going right onwards, there's a few things that we're super looking forward to for the convention. If you like things a little bit raunchier, after, I don't want to say after dark because it's the summer. There's not necessarily going to be a dark, but a little bit later at night, we're going to have some 18 plus panels. So obviously you have to be an adult to go, but there's going to be things like a lingerie show. There's going to be, I think, a dating panel or something. It's going to be super fun, like a dating game type panel. So it's going to be super fun. There's going to be a couple 18 plus panels. Not all of them are going to be 18 plus around that time, but it's going to be fun for everybody who is 18 plus, who's going to be able to go to those panels. So definitely look forward to those. We're still trying to get a few more people that are willing to help out with Street Team, which is basically just our way of saying we need to distribute news about the convention. So every now and then we get together and we just go on a flyer distributing party, pretty much. We'll hang out and we just go to various local businesses and have them put up flyers that are going to attract more attention. It's super fun to do those because we get to go out and cosplay. If you want to, you're not required to, but it really draws attention to you, and you can actually hand out individual flyers and say, hey, this is coming up. And people actually get really excited when they see that, because if they like the costume, oftentimes they like costumes in general, or maybe they just want to try a new experience. So if you're interested in participating, send a message to the Bellingham Anime Con Bacon Facebook page, and we'll see if we can maybe fit you in to our street team. I think that would be super cool. It's even better if you want to do that and volunteer for the convention, because, well, why not, right? So that's about it for Bacon. Right. Also, if you guys haven't seen, we have a really cool ad that we have up. It's on the YouTube, it's on the Facebook. It may even be showing up on public access TV. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be super cool though. It's a really, really awesome commercial. It really tells you a lot about what Bacon's going to be about this year in particular. So go check it out. I'm going to put a link to the description, a link in the description of the video below. Go check that out. It's going to be really cool to have more people see that and wonder, what is this? There's a lot of cool stuff about it. I was actually there for the filming of the commercial. That was a lot of fun. It was a long day of filming, but it was really fun and it was really cool. So, and I got to learn a few more things as well while I was there. So, look forward to that. Now, on to my stuff. I don't exactly know what my stuff is. Of course I do. So, obviously, last month, I didn't have any minicasts, but a lot of cool video games came out since the last set of minicasts, and I wanted to talk about a couple of them. So obviously, at the end of February, and these are all games that I am excited about. Well, mostly. So at the end of February, you had Horizon Zero Dawn, which I have played a decent amount of so far. That is a super cool game. If you're interested in cool Native American culture, awesome ladies with bows and arrows fighting robot dinosaurs, it's the game for you. It's a lot of fun. It's a big open world RPG. I highly recommend it for anybody who has a PS4. It's just a lot of fun. It's got a great interactive story. It's super, super cool. Then, a little bit after that, I believe in the beginning of March, Nier Automata came out. I haven't played that yet. I intend to eventually. I intend to buy it eventually. It looks cool. You know, obviously there's some interesting fan art out there about the main character, but it actually does look like an enjoyable game. The RPG factor, I'm not the biggest RPG fan, but it looks really cool, so I'm probably going to pick it up at some point. Then in the middle of March, the slightly controversial Mass Effect Andromeda came out. I am pretty deep into that, actually. I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect. Mass Effect is actually, the original trilogy was one of my favorite games of all time. So I've been playing Andromeda. Don't necessarily listen to all the reviewers. There's definitely some issues, but it's not an imperfect game. And I really do enjoy it. I've been playing quite a lot of it in my free time whenever I get the opportunity. There are a few little glitches that I've been noticing. They recently put out a patch. BioWare recently put out a patch that fixed a number of issues, actually. That was really, really nice of them. But there's one, I'll tell you this. So, I had returned to my ship, the Tempest, and I hadn't been on the Tempest for quite a while. I'd been playing PlanetSide for several days. So I decided to see, hey, has anything changed? And I walked into one of the companion characters' rooms, which is an escape pod. And unfortunately, one of the glitches of the game is that sometimes doors on the Tempest don't like to react to you. And normally the best way to do that is to walk away from a door. But the problem is, when I got locked in PB's room, her room was too small to walk away from the door. So I was effectively locked into her escape pod room, and I had to actually load a previous save. Luckily, it had saved very, very shortly before I got in. I didn't even have to do any more dialogue interactions before I, continued on with what I was doing. But I definitely have to say it's a fun game if you're a fan of Mass Effect, the original trilogy. I would say pick up Mass Effect Andromeda. It is super cool. It's not perfect, but what game is? Of course, some people might like to argue because, of course, a new game just came out recently. Persona 5 has finally come out. It's been years. People have been waiting on Persona 5 since 2014, I believe. It was initially supposed to come out in the fall of 2014 for the PlayStation 3 even. It wasn't even supposed to be for the PlayStation 4, so I don't know what happened. I've never played a Persona game in my life. I know very, very little about it, but geez, oh man, oh my. Apparently, it is extremely popular. Most of my friends have been playing Persona 5 and loving it. It's not my kind of game, but if you're interested in any of the Persona games or any Shin Megami Tensei, probably look into it. Probably pick it up. I'm sure you'll enjoy your time with it, just like everybody else is, apparently. Moving forward a little bit, one of my favorite recent anime, unfortunately, just had its season finale. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid just had its final episode last week, and it's super unfortunate because that anime was so good, which you wouldn't expect coming from a show that literally has an episode titled The Fan Service Episode. It was extremely good. It was wonderful. If I'm not mistaken, it was made by Kyoto Animation, which is one of my favorite animation companies, so that actually explains why it was so good. I don't think they were the ones that distributed it. I think it was distributed by A1 Pictures or something, but it was definitely a fantastic series, which I wasn't expecting. I kind of went into it expecting it to be extremely fan servicey. It turned out to be one of my favorite Moe series of all time. I actually showed a couple episodes to a friend yesterday while I was at his house, and he ended up binging the rest of it when I left, just because he loved it so much. And he's not a big fan of fan service anime, so that tells you a lot, I think. It's definitely an enjoyable series, so if you're interested in watching a weird series about dragons, definitely go check out Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. On top of that, last month I received an unfortunate reminder that Konosuba's seasons are only 10 episodes long because I was super excited for the next episode of Konosuba and realized it wasn't coming, unfortunately. So, 20 episodes, 2 seasons, God's blessing on this beautiful world, Konosuba. If you're if you like the fantasy RPG kind of games that SAO brought, but you actually like good anime, and I'm only saying this because some people really don't like. I actually enjoyed SAO, but anyways, if you like that kind of setting, I highly recommend Konosuba. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in a very long time. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So go ahead and check out Konosuba if you can. These are all on Crunchyroll, by the way. So on top of that, there we go. Attack on Titan Season 2 finally started. That's not necessarily a surprise, but wow. I don't actually know if I'm going to be watching Attack on Titan Season 2 since it's been 3 years since the first season, and I've kind of lost a little bit of interest. I've had some friends that have started rewatching it, and they're definitely excited about it. There's a few things that have recently come to light about the author that make me kind of, I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but I'll probably give in eventually just to kind of see what it's like. I mean, I already have the Crunchyroll subscription. I might as well, right? It's going to be interesting based on all of the things that I've heard from the manga. I haven't read the manga, but oh boy, it'll be a fun ride, I'm sure, if and when I ever get around to watching it. Then, of course, you also had the second season of My Hero Academia. That recently started up. I actually hadn't seen the first season until the second season started. I binge watched that in about 2 days, and then I actually got around to watching the beginning of the second season. It didn't go the way I expected it to, but I'm actually very, very much enjoying it. If you like Dragon Ball or really like any comic book series or superheroes, My Hero Academia is probably a show that you'll enjoy. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot darker than I expected it was going to be. I'm definitely going to have to watch a lot more shows, though, coming out pretty soon. I know One Punch Man Season 2 recently got announced. I actually never got around to watching Mob Psycho 100, and that actually looks really good, so I have to do that. And it's from the same studio and the same author that did One Punch Man, so I kind of feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't watch Mob Psycho 100. So eventually I'll get around to doing that. There's a lot more anime that are going to be coming out pretty soon. Oh, right, there was another series I wanted to bring up too, and it's become super popular. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's weirdly popular, I guess. It's called Kemono Friends, and to my understanding, it was made by a studio of about 10 people. It took them about 500 days or something like that to create the series. It's kind of one of those 2.5D kind of things. It's not quite a 3D series, but it's a lot of computer animation. And it essentially, I've only watched a couple of episodes, but to my knowledge, it essentially revolves around a young girl who gets trapped inside of like a big safari, and all of the animals are also people. And it's actually pretty cute. The art style can kind of be off putting every now and then. There's sort of a weird, I don't want to call it a subplot, but there actually are bad guys in this series, which doesn't quite seem to fit what I've seen thus far of, hey, let's get this little girl from one end of the safari to the other. There's a bunch of different zones that they have to pass through in order to get her to this to where she's going, which is like a big library. So she wakes up in the savannah and she meets a young serval named Serval-chan, and eventually they progress through, kind of like a jungle and all these other places, and they meet all kinds of different animals. They meet Otter-chan and they meet Leopard-chan, all these different characters. And there's also a tiny robot rabbit thing. It's pretty cute nonetheless. It kind of looks like one of the mini Totoros from My Neighbor Totoro. So I've seen a couple episodes, as I said. If you're interested in that kind of thing, go for it. I'm gonna watch the rest of it eventually. I've just been kind of busy lately. This week has just been, wow, all over the place. I have not had much of a day to rest, and that's because, and we're going right forward, SoccerCon is this weekend, so I hope you are all ready for that if you're going. I know I am. I know my best friend is not. So there's a lot. It's going to be super cool. Unfortunately, forecast calls for rain. I'm not excited about that. Bodysuits and rain don't really mix very well, but I hopefully will be okay. Luckily, this year for Spider-Man, I have a backpack that I can actually use. I made myself a web backpack for Spider-Man, and it's not perfect, but it works. So I'm going to be using that. And actually, I bought a backpack to use with my Deadpool cosplay. So that's exciting. I don't have to ask people to carry my stuff anymore. I just realized I don't know what I'm going to be using for Ninja Brian. I'll probably just bring my Attack on Titan drawstring bag or something. But anyways, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Speaking of Ninja Brian, actually that's the cosplay I'm going to be wearing on Friday. But speaking of Ninja Brian, I bought tickets for myself, one of my friends, and my girlfriend to go see Ninja Sex Party in September. They recently announced a nationwide tour. I got pumped for it. I was like, it's probably not going to happen, but my girlfriend, who is going to be moving to Washington in June, was like, I want to go see them. They're down in Seattle. Like, let's go. And I told my best friend about it, and she's like, we got to do it. So I was up. I bought tickets as soon as they went on sale. It was super, super cool. I greatly enjoyed buying those tickets. I don't know why I said that, but it was super exciting because I saw Game Grumps live last year with the same friend, a couple different friends, but the same friend that I'm going with. I got to see Game Grumps live, and that was a super fun experience. I've been a big fan of Game Grumps for several years. Not since their inception. I actually didn't find out about them until several months later. I think I found out about them only a few months before Danny joined up and John left. So, luckily, I'm going to go see Ninja Sex Party, and this particular concert, luckily, they're going to have Aaron with them, so it's going to be Ninja Sex Party and also Starbomb, but Twerp is also doing a nationwide tour, and they actually are converging at a couple different locations before going off again, and Twerp and Ninja Sex Party are going to be there. So it's going to be a really, really big thing. It's going to be super exciting. There's a couple things that my girlfriend is probably going to make some shirts for us. Just, 3-of-a-kind shirts, but it's going to be super, super awesome. By the way, if you weren't aware, and you might be, my girlfriend, Berserk Brandy, is the person who drew our current mascot and chibi mascot that you can see in this video right here. If you like her art, she's currently doing $5 chibi commissions, so if you're interested in that, go check out her Tumblr, Berserk Brandy, at tumblr.com, and potentially get a really cool, really cute, cheap chibi. She also has some new shirts and new merch that are going to be going up on her Designed by Humans and Teespring and all those stuff. Her newest shirt is the Shiba Inu Good Doggo shirt. If you want that, I mean, it's not even just a shirt. You can get it in a sweatshirt, you can get it in a tank top, or you can get it in sticker, print, laptop case, laptop skin, notebook, pillow. You can get all kinds of cool stuff from Designed by Humans, so go check it out. If you like this Shiba Inu design, go check that out. Again, the description for that will be in the video as well. I'm only saying this because her art is great, and I really want to get her stuff out there, and this is a mini-cast, which technically means that I can do whatever I want, but it's going to be super fun to go see Ninja Sex Party and just have a great time. I personally love their music. I know some people think it's kind of too raunchy, but I think they are absolutely hilarious. Danny is one of my favorite people. Anyways, some things that I'm also excited about. I didn't bring this up earlier just because, I don't know. But Destiny 2 was recently announced. I'm a huge Destiny fan. Destiny is one of my favorite things. I'm actually really looking forward to my super expensive figure that I bought a couple of months ago. I bought it like last summer. It's, as I said, it's a super, super expensive figure. How much was it? I don't want to say $300, but I also do want to say $300. He's going to be shipping very, very shortly, and that's exciting for me. He's going to be beautiful. He'll be here soon. Also, speaking of things that I bought a long time ago, if you don't follow me on Instagram, and I'm not really trying to promote myself, I'm just saying that I put this up on my Instagram, I finally got my fidget cube, which is something that I backed. I backed the Kickstarter in, I want to say October. I could be wrong though. And because I backed it so late, and I also got a survey that I didn't know about until December, they basically, when they sent out the survey, it was what, because you did back it, it basically said, what color do you want? And is your address still correct? And I didn't see the email because unfortunately my Kickstarter is hooked up to my Facebook, and my Facebook is hooked up to an email account that I do not use. So that was unfortunate. But eventually I did answer the survey. It was still good. I finally got my fidget cube last month in March. It is absolutely beautiful. If you don't know what a fidget cube is, it's essentially a 6-sided device that is good for fidgeting, particularly if you need stimming, if you have ADD like I do, or if you have autism, or if you just need something to feel in your hand. And each face of the cube has a different thing on it. And I don't want to promote them per se, but I also want to say that this is a super cool thing that you can actually buy on their website now. Just look up Fidget Cube. There's a lot of fake ones out there, unfortunately. The real one is going to come from a company called Antsy Labs. There's a lot of fake ones out there, and it's kind of unfortunate that the idea was ripped off before most of these were even shipped out to people. But essentially, I'll tell you right now real fast what each face does. So there's one face, it's called Click. It's got 5 buttons on it, 3 of which make noise, and then 2 of which do not. And it's just, if you want to click on something, like a pen. It's supposed to be like clicking a pen. One face is called, I believe it's called Spin. It's got 3 little wheels on it, and then a ball bearing that can be rolled in any direction. There's, I don't remember what all the face names are. There's another thing that, I don't know if you've ever seen those old remote controls for VHS players that had like a dial that you could spin all the way around, but there's something like that. And again, it makes a little bit of a noise, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because noise for stimming can be super important, but it just sounds like that. There's another one, it's almost like a joystick face that also spins around. You can kind of hear that clicking. It's like a switch, like a light switch kind of thing. It goes, just flicks up and down. And then finally, the last face is called Breathe, which is based on traditional worry stones. And it's really just something for you to rub your thumb on, and it actually is super calming. And you can do all kinds of stuff. Obviously, you can do that. You can roll this around in your hands. I like to just kind of toss it up in the air and catch it. It's a super, super cool thing. So if you have, if you need to fidget, it's something that I would recommend. I know there was one group that I saw that recently came out with like a 10-sided thing that each face did something else, but I don't really trust that. There were a couple different things that I don't trust. Fidget spinners are a thing that I've recently been seeing. They come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. There's a really popular one right now that's in the shape of Genji's shuriken from Overwatch. Speaking of that, real fast, I don't know if you guys saw, recently there was a new Overwatch comic, and then there were a bunch of new skins that are going to be out for a new Overwatch event. So if you are interested in Overwatch, you've probably already seen them, but the skins do look super cool. I haven't played Overwatch in a long time. I actually sold my copy of Overwatch and I traded it in towards getting Mass Effect because I don't have a lot of money, and I think I only paid like $20 for the deluxe edition of Mass Effect because I traded in so many games. But that's cool anyways. Overwatch, if you enjoy it, those skins look super cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing people playing with those skins. I like the story of Overwatch. I wasn't a big fan of the gameplay, but I like the story, and I need to go back and see, when did Genji join Blackwatch? I don't remember that ever being a thing, but that's okay. So, winding down here, if there's anything else that you guys want to see, anything else you guys want to hear about, or if you just want to be person who's on the podcast, go ahead, send an email to bellinghamanime@gmail.com with the description or with the subject line podcast. I'll see if I can get you on an episode of the podcast, or you can just tell me your complaints and whatnot, or you can put them in the comments below. The comments are always available. If you're also interested, we're currently on Instagram running the 45 Days of Cosplay, which is just sort of a thing to feature local cosplayers and their super cool cosplay as we lead into Baycon, and just every single day on Instagram. And it's also going to be up on our Facebook page as well if you haven't seen that. But every single day we're going to be posting a picture of a new cosplayer. And unfortunately, we're kind of running out of submissions, so if you have anything, please submit it to me, and I will be sure to get it up onto the Instagram. So you can send it to the Instagram, Bellingham Anime, or you can send it to the Facebook page. Either way, it'll be up on Instagram at some point or other. We're just really looking forward to having more cosplays featured on the page because so many of you have such amazing cosplays. I want to see them all. I want everyone to see them all. So, I hope to see all of you at Baycon next month, May 13th at Whatcom Community College. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some super cool stuff that I can't quite talk about yet. I can't talk about it until the con, probably. But there's some super secret events that are going to be happening. And if you haven't formed your party yet, that's actually an important step. If you haven't formed your party yet, make sure to register on the website. Choose your character class from our various character classes that are available. If you're kind of confused, make sure to check out the video that's on the front page of the website. It's going to tell you all about how to create the different characters. And as I said, having that is important. So it's all going to come together. You'll see why very soon. Anyways, I can't wait to see all of you there. Make sure to have a great month, and I will see you all at Baycon and in the next podcast. Bye-bye.